Learning why people make the decisions they do is essential knowledge for every marketer. Whether you've made it your career and you geek out on it, or you're just doing what you need to do to get the word out about your business. Hi, thanks for joining me today and welcome to the channel. I'm Morgan with Life Marketing, the digital marketing agency that helps small businesses grow. And today we're talking about one of my favorite topics, the psychology of marketing. Before I get into the video though, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We're putting out tons of great marketing content every week and you don't want to miss out. So what is marketing psychology? Marketing psychology is the science of understanding why consumers make the buying decisions that they do. Now, you may be thinking, should a small business even bother with marketing psychology? It seems like a big corporation thing. Well, as you know, there is a ton of competition out there. Understanding the reasoning behind your customer's decision or indecision will help you to make better ads, design better experiences, services, or products, and help you reach your business goals. Today, I'll be covering some of the most popular marketing psychology terms, what they mean, and share examples of how they've been used by other businesses and how you can use them for your own. Remember, if you want all the marketing content, we've got it. So be sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on new videos. First, let's talk about the psychology of social proof. The concept of social proof is that we take cues from what others are doing to judge whether or not we should also do that thing. We look to people who have authority, like celebrities or our friends and family, or even strangers online, and think if they think it's good, then it's good. We see this concept of social proof used all of the time in influencer or celebrity endorsements of products, in experts talking about the effectiveness of a tool or product, and in customer reviews on search and social. When we talk about social proof, we can separate it into 6 categories. The first is expert. This is someone who is top of their field or industry or topic and recommends your business. The second is celebrity. This is someone who is famous that recommends your business. The third is user. This is an existing customer who is recommending your business. The fourth is wisdom of the crowd. And this is large groups of people endorsing your business. Think like follower counts for this one. Number 5 is wisdom of friends. That's social connections of somebody else engaging with your business. The 6th is certification. This is when an authority has given you a certificate. Like in marketing, for example, you can get a Google certified partner badge, or you can win awards for ads or something that you've designed. Take each of those 6 categories and then write out ideas for some of the ways that you can use them to market your business. I've got a few ideas to get you started. You can invite an expert to review your product or do a Q&A with your audience. You can host an event and invite experts to attend. You could do a discussion panel to be pretty fun. Open up affiliate marketing options to influencers and users. Introduce a brand ambassador program. Work with influencers. I would start with micro-influencers for affordability and effectiveness because their audiences trust them. Encourage and share user-generated content. Shout out good reviews and thank them for their business publicly. Share those testimonials as graphics in your feed. Ask for reviews. And get verified on social networks. Did you hear that Twitter just made it really super easy to get that blue check mark? Check it out if you haven't already. That should be enough to get you started, but don't stop with this list. There are so many ways that you can utilize social proof in your marketing, and it works, so get brainstorming. Next, let's talk the psychology of scarcity. We all basically understand this concept. The less of something there is, the more the people want it. It's an economic concept that applies to marketing beautifully. We also know that we like to show off when we have the thing that everyone else wants, but no one can find. We see this concept in social media posts from influencers showing luxury cars or limited edition handbags or shoes. We see it in limited time discounts or sales. We see it in displaying inventory counts on websites. For example, only 4 left. Large companies use this principle all of the time. You've seen it everywhere. One of my favorite examples comes from Nintendo, who, when they launched the Wii console back in 2006, purposely kept supply low by producing fewer consoles than they had demand for. That year, they outsold the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 by keeping that supply low. So as soon as folks saw a Wii available, they didn't think about it, they just bought it. When we talk about scarcity, you can use it in 2 different ways. You can limit time on the thing, so the hurry comes from getting it before the time is up. And you can limit the number. So the hurry comes from knowing that there's a limited number to purchase. So how can you use scarcity in your marketing? Here are some ideas, but the sky is the limit here. So again, take some time to brainstorm and write down examples that you see from other brands. So the first way you can do this is with out of stock labels. Keep products up on your website even when they go out of stock, but only if you plan to bring the product back. Collect email addresses to notify customers when it's back in stock. If they notice that your items are going out of stock a lot, they'll learn to buy as soon as they see something they like. And if they miss it, you've collected their email address so that you can contact them for future marketing. The second option is to tell people when there are only a few of an item left. This creates a sense of urgency and pushes consumers to make an immediate purchase. All sorts of websites use this tactic. In store, this can look like not filling your containers or bins all the way up, so you can make shoppers feel like the item must be very popular since there's not a lot left. A third option is flash sales. Buyers only have a couple of days to get the deal. Display countdown timers on your website and across social media, plus post reminders and send email reminders on the final day and in the final hours of the sale to increase that urgency. The fourth option is seasonal releases. I'm speaking directly to the pumpkin spice latte right now. Love it or hate it, think it's basic or not, there's no denying the power of Starbucks seasonal drinks. Speaking of Starbucks, remember that limited time unicorn frappe that caused such a frenzy a few years ago? That's good marketing. Let's move on to the psychology of reciprocity. This is the idea that people like to reciprocate when others do something for them. You scratch my back, I scratch yours kind of a thing. A lot of content marketing uses the psychology of reciprocity since the consumer is getting a value of some sort for free. As they have a positive experience with your content or your brand, they'll be more likely to reciprocate, either by making a purchase or referring you to someone who will make a purchase. We see this concept in free trials from streaming services or apps or digital tools. We see it in in-depth blogs, articles, or videos from a business for their customers. Another great example of this is the try-at-home options that we see for like glasses. And free samples. When we talk about reciprocity, often the answer is giving something away for free, but it doesn't have to be your product or your service. So keep that in mind as you're planning. Here are some ideas to get you started. Number 1, offer a freebie. Now, this needs to be a valuable freebie, not a garbage freebie. This can be a PDF, a video, an audio recording, a bundle of tools, or a free version of your product or your service or your experience. Number 2, a free premium trial. If you have an app or software, this is especially helpful. You'll get people used to it, and when the time is up, they'll want to reciprocate by purchasing. Number 3, reach out on customers' birthdays or send a thank you note. Making your customer feel special can do wonders for your business. Think, how can you personalize their experience? Number 4 is to share user-generated content. The user will want to brag and they'll appreciate the shout out, so will be more willing to share your posts to their users in the future. I recently signed up for a meal kit delivery service and had been enjoying it. I was pleasantly surprised to find free desserts in a couple of my boxes with a note from the company apologizing for shipping delays due to the 2020 situation. Now, I was a new customer this year, so these issues didn't affect me at all, but they still included that note and the delicious treats, and I'm still happily subscribed. Let's move on to the foot in the door technique. The idea behind this sales and marketing principle is if you can get someone to say yes to something small, it's much easier to get them to say yes to your bigger ask later on. Jonathan Friedman and Scott Fraser demonstrated this technique beautifully by asking homeowners in California to put a large sign on their lawn urging cautious driving. Initially, only 17% of homeowners agreed, but when they asked homeowners first to put up a small window sign, most people agreed to do that. Then, when they showed up 2 weeks later to ask again about the large yard sign, 76% of the people said yes. We see this concept in asking for users to engage on your website even before they buy. We also see it in recommending products to add to the user's cart. Same principle applies when you're showing past purchases and you're offering discounts or free products. Here are some ideas to get you started that are a little more specific. The first is you can add a similar product recommendation on the product pages and in your shopping cart. You can use phrasing like, if you like X, you'll also like Y. Or customers who bought X also bought Y. Number 2 is you can suggest products to get their cart started. Use this recommendation based on past purchase history. If the user bought it before, they'll be more willing to buy it again. Number 3 is offer some way to unlock a special code or a discount. Extra points if it's gamified, like a scratch ticket or a prize wheel that users can spin. Put a time limit on it. For example, first order only or expires in 24 hours. Number 4 is give free shipping. Again, limiting this to first orders or orders over a certain dollar amount will help urge a purchase. And our fifth option is to ask your users to answer questions or share their preferences on your website. A great example of this is websites that ask for your preferences when you create a new account, like Netflix or Pinterest does. Okay, let's talk about the psychology of anchoring bias. Anchoring bias refers to our tendency to latch on to the first piece of information that we see or hear when it comes to making a decision later. You refer back to your anchor to compare and contrast new information. We see this concept in marketing a lot, and here's an example for you. You see a window display for French fries that are only $2 for a large. You think, awesome, I love French fries and that's a great price. But when you drive up to order, there's another display, this time for a meal that includes a drink and a hamburger, plus the large fry, for only $6. You compare the price of the fries on their own to the price of the meal, and the meal looks like a better deal to you, so you buy. You can use this concept of anchoring bias to help increase conversions. Here are some ideas for you. The first is initial price setting. This strategy is displaying an original price to establish a primary value. Customers will keep this in their mind and be receptive to a lower price. Amazon does this particularly well. Number 2 is multiple unit pricing. This makes an individual item seem like a poor choice in comparison to buying multiples. It's a buy in bulk and save kind of a thing. We see this modeled well at wholesale places like Costco. Folks feel like they're making a smarter choice when they can bundle and save versus buying the individual item. Number 3 is price perception. This compares the prices of similar items. The anchor, the cheaper item that they see first, looks like a bargain compared to the expensive version. Number 4 is gear acquisition syndrome. This strategy is often used in fashion and tech. Many people want the biggest, best, shiniest version of a thing that they already have. Reminding people that this is the latest version works really well. What happens every time there's a new iPhone, even if the difference between models isn't that much? We have lines around blocks. That's because their anchor, the current cell phone, isn't as good as the new one. There are many other examples of anchoring bias, but these are commonly used and can be implemented by any size business, which is why I chose them. Let's move on to the psychology of loss aversion and the endowment effect. The idea behind this one is relatively simple. Humans don't like losing things. In fact, we hate losing things more than we love getting things. It's true. We hate it twice as much, actually. Have you ever missed out on the sale of an item that you've been wanting to buy? Or you waited too long to get tickets to an event and they sold out? It's the worst. Similarly to how we hate losing things, we tend to overvalue what we already have. That's the endowment effect. A specific study highlighted the endowment effect showed that people given a mug as a gift assigned it a higher dollar value than a group of people asked how much they would pay for that same mug. We can use both of these principles together to increase conversions. Here are some ideas to get you started. Give out a free trial with all the bells and whistles. Okay, maybe you can keep a couple of bells and whistles to yourself, but give them a really good version of the app. This applies both the endowment effect, we overvalue what we already have, and loss aversion. If we don't upgrade, we lose out. Or if we let our trial expire, we lose out. Create a sense of urgency. This combines the principle of scarcity. If we know there's a limited time or a number, we'll act more quickly for fear of missing out. There's an entire acronym for it, actually, FOMO. The phrase may have had its pop culture field day and been laid to rest, but the principle applies to marketing every single day. Show shipping countdown timers. A good example of this is order before 2 p.m. and get your item the next day, or something similar. The impulse buy combined with loss aversion makes an easy yes for most shoppers. Put it in your copy. Maybe your product or service prevents loss for people. Say that. Phrases like protect your blank or keep your blank safe. Use this principle to get more lead generation conversions. Display a progress bar showing how far your form filler has gotten, showing them what they'll lose if they leave without completing the form. Let's talk about the decoy effect. The decoy effect refers to buyers changing their mind after deciding between two options when a third option is added that is meant to nudge you to the more expensive of the two options. If you're comparing two similar items and the less expensive item is actually a better choice, you can add a third option that's more expensive than option 2, but makes option 2 look like a better choice than option 1. Make sense? In this example from The Economist, we can see which option they want us to choose. We think we're making a choice, but there's a decoy to push us toward the best option for the business. Also take notice of the other language using loss aversion and scarcity wording. It all works hand in hand, and you can use multiple principles at once. Here's how you'll use the decoy effect for your business. The first thing is to choose your key product. This is the product that you want to sell more of. Make sure that it's a good product and that people like it, otherwise it's not going to work. Next, you'll structure your key product. This should have lots of benefits, but should be more expensive than your other options. Now is when we create the decoy. You structure this to make your key product look good and desirable. Give between 1 and 3 other options for 3 to 5 total. Too many options can lead to indecision, so don't make it complicated. You'll price the decoy close to your key product, the high-priced option. The price can be the same or it can be slightly lower. Display them on your website. You can use terms like best choice or most popular for the program that you want them to choose or the item that you would prefer that they choose. After you've priced your decoy, you'll make the product public. I recommend checking back into this. Check the sales on the key product and see if it's really helping or if it's hurting. Let's talk about the psychology of priming. Priming is kind of like setting the mood before a romantic dinner. You want to have a nice dinner with someone that you love, so what do? You try to make the environment nice to prime your partner and yourself for a romantic evening. It's a subconscious effect on us. Most of us don't even realize when it's happening. In fact, a lot of branding is actually priming people for an experience. So here are some examples for priming that you can use in your marketing. As in my example above, music sets the tone. If you own a bakery, for example, and you want to sell more macarons, maybe you play French music to get people subconsciously thinking about France. Those macarons will look a little bit more tasty than maybe they were walking in there thinking. Maybe they didn't walk in there wanting to buy that item, but the music kind of nudges them in that direction. You can ask a direct question to get folks thinking about your product's features. For example, when they come in the store, you can say, do you like fast computers? If you sell fast computers. Ask a direct question to get folks thinking about your product's features. I walked into a local soap store recently and they asked me what my favorite scent was. I started thinking about it and then guess what? I bought a bunch of products with that scent. Show images of what could be, aspirational images, before and afters, inspirational vacation pictures, etc. A lot of Instagram is made up of these. Highlight product features in your copy to get people thinking about those features, kind of like the direct question. Make a fun video showing the product and set the tone again with some music and with the set. Use color psychology to put shoppers in the right mindset. Your logos and graphics can do this as well. Just think about the smile in the Amazon logo. This is priming you for a positive experience from start to finish. I mentioned color psychology when I was talking about priming. For the sake of time, I won't cover color psychology in this video, but it's a fascinating topic that I recommend you look into, especially if you're trying to decide on branding or packaging design, or you create any sort of imagery for your business. Here's a graphic from Huffington Post that you can screenshot now if you'd like to learn more. Let us know if you'd like to see a more in-depth video on color psychology in the future, and we'll start working on something. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and hang out with me for a while. The world of marketing psychology is fascinating, and we've barely scratched the surface in this video. I hope you learned something new and have a better idea of how to use these principles in your marketing efforts. Want me to do another video like this with more examples? Let me know in the comments. Remember that marketing psychology comes after you've got a great product. So if you're just starting out, focus on your value proposition and the quality of your product or service. When that's all settled, in my opinion, that's when the fun begins. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our weekly marketing content. And let's chat about marketing psychology in the comments. I'll see you in an upcoming video. Happy marketing!